Built like a tank, fast as a Lambo. Those are the statements in the comment that Charles Hoskinson has made in regards to Cardano. So I want to break that all down for you guys right here in this video. Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is a great time to join us right here on the channel. And let's get down into it, okay? And guys, please remember, none of this is financial advice, so always do your own research and due diligence. But when we're waking up today, looking at the crypto bubbles as we currently are standing here, it's been a little bit of a mixed bag. You can see ADA, 38 cents, essentially flat as we wake up. But coming off of this last week, we have had a really great week, up 14%. So let's see if we can keep that momentum going. But I did want to share with you guys kind of what ADA is doing on this Monday morning as we wake up. We'll look at kind of more of an in-depth analysis of the charts when we look into the trading view, and you can see kind of what's going on in terms of momentum. That is my trading indicator. That is kind of my end all be all, what I use to make my decisions. And we formed a nice little green candle here yesterday on the this week, when we did kind of flash momentum up, and we're still flashing. So let's see where we can head. I want to get back up into this range where we're at 42 cents. Get above that level, that second blue line that I drew. That's kind of the mark where I feel like Cardano wants to consolidate in, and then we can wait for that broader push within that narrative. So that's kind of where I'm at within Cardano on the charts. But let's get into these statements by Hoskinson, because he's saying that Cardano doesn't go down. It's built like a tank, but fast as a Lambo. So very exciting, kind of interesting. I know Charles is a little outspoken at times, and I don't really mind it in this regard. It's something that can kind of get us through, get us in the right directions. And I was actually at that Toronto conference up in the Futurists, and, Rare Evo, it's unfortunate. It was basically, I think there was a little bit of an overlap. So I was kind of disappointed because I wanted to see that. I believe the last year in Toronto, Hoskinson actually spoke, but within his keynote speech, Hoskinson highlighted Cardano's robust architecture and how it's evolved over the last few years, arguing that the network has become too strong to falter, all right, likening Cardano to the strength of a near indestructible armored vehicle. Now, I'm going to make a joke about that. The price is something of a armored vehicle because we have not been able to break through. Okay, I think if Cardano could see a little bit of a tailwind and just say we get even back above $1, okay, I think that's something where, from an investor sentiment standpoint, it needs something like that, a more broader stroke to kind of grab the masses versus just, hey, we're going to talk a bunch of smack at a conference, okay? I don't think that's enough to stand upon. So for me, that's kind of how I view it. I think we're just lacking that retail infatuation, right? But I think the best thing we can do is just remind your friends, remind everybody, tell everybody that Cardano at one point was third in total market cap. I think a lot of people forget about that. So that's kind of where I'm at, and that's kind of what I'm going to be about, because I have not sold a Cardano and ADA since I've bought it. It's staked in a cold storage, and call me crazy, but I definitely took out that position, and I have a 2030 mindset, so we'll see where we go from here, okay? But further on to his statements, Cardano does not go down. It's built like a tank, but it's fast now. And this is something where, within crypto, Lambos, when Lambo, that's always the big discussion. But that analogy is more so focused on the fact that Cardano, and alluding to the fact of focusing on that security and speed, okay? It's kind of what separates Cardano from many other blockchains. You do hear about security hacks and all this good stuff, and, this, that, and the other, but within ADA, we have not really had any of those breaches. So that's kind of one thing that they do pride themselves on. But also, it's something worth noting that we're not stupid, right? We're not stupid. They're obviously being strategic, and everything has a time schedule, okay? Call it what you want. We have, the Chang hard fork delayed. Everything is subject to kind of how Bitcoin's running, in my opinion, kind of how the world's running with political from a political standpoint, a geopolitical standpoint, an economic standpoint. Everything is kind of just tied in together. And if you think I'm crazy, just ask yourself why they do the Bitcoin halving every 4 years, and actually think if it has anything to do with what they tell you, because I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist myself, but you cannot argue with me and win that argument if you want to give me any kind of scientific reasoning why the Bitcoin halving coincides and overlaps with the presidential election of the United States. You're just not going to win that argument. You may be right at face value, but I just kind of think that, you know, when push comes to shove, somebody knew what they were doing, and it's some kind of manipulation, I think, at its deeper roots. Okay, but that's the conspiracy theorist in me. I'm going to shut the book and get back into Cardano. All right, but over the last 7 years, this is the big thing right here, guys. They've maintained a strong record, and I've talked about it. They've been one of the most robust networks in the industry. No shutdowns. That's been great, and if it has, it's been very, very small. But now as we look to get into Hydra and what the era of Voltaire brings to the table, Chang hard fork is going to be, I think, that thing that if you really believe into scientific blockchain technology and that scientific approach, I always say within Cardano, I just think it's a little too complex for your mom and pop crypto investor, your retail trader. Okay, but Hydra's going to give us 1 million TPS. That's huge. Okay, that's where you had the ability to run the classic Doom game on the network with a speed of 35 frames per second, every frame processed as a transaction. So that proves that Hydra could handle 1 million transactions per second with 30,000 concurrent players. That's huge scalability, okay? So that's kind of what we have going on in terms of that upgrade. But I don't really know if you guys want to talk too much about Hoskinson's comments anymore in their, I should say, entirety, because what it comes down to is, you know, some people just think talk is cheap, and you're better off leaving things unspoken. I think let the chart do its talking. Let Cardano go up to $1, $1.50, and then you won't have to say anything because the demand will be back. Okay, that's how I view it. I just think talk is a little cheap when we're talking about cryptos, and quite frankly, I wish I could make a Cardano is mooning video or Cardano is exploding. I don't want to always have to piggyback off of Hoskinson and just basically these open-ended statements that he may be right, but if Cardano's not going up, it's really not going to do anything for me and you respectively. So that's kind of where I'm at. I wanted to allude to the fact that within ADA, historically, the Chang hard fork has been a very, very bullish catalyst. So I'm very excited. I think September 1st is kind of where we're going to have that as of now. That could all change, obviously. So I'm really excited to see what happens from that. I think that you can look across the board in crypto, and it's not just kind of just a few things here or there. We are starting to see a lot of open interest. Futures are picking up. I do like the fact that we had a couple really big green days. Let's see if we can keep that momentum going into the month of September, and hopefully close Q4 off in a very strong direction. Get rid of that volatility, and let's get back to trading crypto the way it should be. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe towards the end of the video. As always, we talk Cardano every single day, as well as all your favorite other cryptos. But I thank you guys once more, and we'll see you all tomorrow in the next video. Cheers.